Welcome to another A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom. So before we start, I don't even want to throw this on you last second.
I like that.
I just realized we need a new Weird Job intro song.
Okay.
But let's name it this: Weird Job with Hot Lips.
Weird Job with Hot Lips.
yeah.
And you want me to write that?
General love that.
And you want me to write that right now?
Yeah. Just say Weird Job with Hot Lips. That's it. And then it's,
okay.
It's Weird Job Wednesday.
It is running a little slow this morning, but I'll see what I can do. Do you want to speak? Is that what her name is? Is her name?
No. It's just a joke she'll find funny.
Hot Lips. All right. It's Weird Job with Hot Lips. Boom.
All right.
I hit it. We'll see what happens. I was going to go with the classic.
Yeah, we could do it. We could have done the hard classic.
Yeah, I was going to go with the classic. I try to balance it out here. You're all in. You're all into it. Yeah, so everybody email Tom, please. Tom@tomandan.com. Don't email me.
No one emails me anything.
Yeah, well, email him. If you hate the AI and you hate that we have to sit there and wait for it to do its thing, email Tom. Don't email me about it because I don't want to answer you guys. I'll send you the song. All right, I got the Hot Lip song going.
Okay, all right.
Here we go. See what we got.
It's a weird job with hot lips. Yeah, it's a weird job with hot lips. Yeah, it's a weird job with hot lips.
Okay, is that what you wanted?
Yeah.
That's kind of worth it. Yeah.
On the line with us is Jennifer. How you doing?
Hey.
Hey, I'm doing good.
Let me kill that so you can hear.
You see, Jennifer, that's what I do is people do me favors and then I bully them.
Were you bullying her?
Yeah.
Is her nickname?
That's all right.
Is her nickname Hot Lips?
No, we said
I
that.
don't even understand what was happening.
We said that at Cabana Live when she was doing the limbo. And,
I forgot about that.
And then she was
Yeah.
like, why do you guys keep doing this to me? It's because you keep showing up, Jennifer, and I feel like...
No, I know.
No, well, I feel like you, in the back of your head, you love it, and then all the jokes you secretly love, and that's I'm showing you love here. Anyway, sorry.
I'm lost.
So, Jennifer, what is your weird job?
So I feel like this kind of fits into the hot lips category. Back in 2006, I worked on a pornographic video research study.
Whoa, I didn't know they did that. Like,
I was a student at UCF, and professor was very much into anti-censorship and anti-obscenity research.
a creep. He was a creepo. Is that what you're saying? Bit of a pervert, right?
So what was the actual study about? I mean, besides pornographic videos, but about what?
So the goal was to try and catalog everything that was happening in the main website that people would go to. So this is before the main porn.
I can tell you that. I'm there every day.
Yeah, but you only see your algorithm.
No, I see it all.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
I'm like the Dr. Manhattan of whacking it.
Well, this is pre-algorithm. So some students were paid to watch porn and take notes, and then I did all the data entry on the back end with some other students in terms of every single thing that happened in these videos.
In 2002, you would have paused on the phrase back end, and we would have all gone, whoa! And then I would have gone, I'll give you one of those.
So the professor had people watch pornographic video. Was it?
I feel like isn't this what people yell about, like liberal education? They're like, the goddamn professors up there having you watch the damn booby movies.
So what did they get to pick the videos they wanted to watch? And then when you say take notes, were they just writing down what happened?
So there was the one website that people would go to, and it had different, I don't want to say categories, but maybe they're like production houses. And a lot of the names are ones I can't really say, but I would go in and write the titles if they had the titles. Students would then note, like, were there age statements? When was the video produced? What were the characters? And then
I can tell you all of that. As soon as I see that little thing, the little Bang, when I see the Bang Bros thing come up, I immediately look to the bottom right-hand corner, and it typically says 2015, which was the golden age. You know, right around your 08 to 2014, 15 is your golden age.
this is like 03, 04, 05.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
This is good.
yeah.
This is good times.
So when you say characters, there's a lot of adult films that have no characters. Those are called gonzo. So in that scenario,
Tom likes to show his knowledge to hot lips. Yeah, we got two perverts showing like two pervert wizards battling each other with their knowledge.
So was it only like movies, feature porno movies, or
I gotta have
was
the whole.
anything?
I gotta have the whole thing. I always look for the fattest, the biggest clips. I don't like a 47 seconds. I don't like 2.5 minutes. I don't like 4 minutes. I go 8 minutes and above.
So with these videos, and Bang Bus was one of the ones. A whole bunch of different. I mean, I don't know how long they were. I don't think they
The
cataloged
original
that.
Bang Bust was shot with a gentleman named Dirty Sanchez.
Yes,
God bless
he
his,
was.
yeah, God bless his
He
soul.
was one of the
Host.
characters, either
Yeah.
Sanchez or cameraman.
Yeah. Sanchez was one, and he was the guy that always
Yeah.
like as soon as they dropped her off at the playground, they drive away. It was all fake, you know. But we were like, "What? How's she gonna get home?"
So I'm curious to what the professors like. Did everybody in class, when he told everybody, did they laugh at this?
Or
Was
did
it
they
serious?
cheer? Did they cheer?
Oh, so this wasn't part of class. This was like a separate research study that I think he had a grant to work on, and I think it had to do, ultimately the purpose was some municipality, some place was trying to ban access to porn based on their local obscenity laws. And so kind of the first step is like, well, what's even happening in these videos, and going to the most popular site that people would go to kind of catalog.
Right. So, like, for instance, you can't ban it unless you try to understand it. So,
Right.
okay. Huh.
And he also did work too, like in terms of, there was someone that was trying to develop a strip club property, and that municipality said, no, it breeds crime. So he was hired as a person to do research about crime statistics around strip clubs, and then around like your average Walmart, which was in this community, and then served as a witness to say there's more crime in Walmarts than strip clubs. You kind of can't ban. So that's kind of the type of work that he would do. But this
Two of my
project
favorite
was-
places. Like, honestly, if you named, like, there's only one
yeah.
more, and if you can name it, you win the biggest prize we have.
There's definitely more crime in Walmart.
Oh, no, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
I
If
don't
you're
need that.
looking for the final thing, hot lips, the three things are Walmart strip clubs and Bojangles fried chicken. Those are my three favorite things.
So now, did he like tell the students like, well, we need volunteers for this?
We need
Like-
people that are going to laugh and take it seriously.
So I was also a teaching assistant or a TA for this professor. So he was very respectful. I don't think female students were asked or offered to watch videos. It was only doing data entry, and said, hey, it's a sensitive project or sensitive material. Is this something that you'd be interested in? It's a paid position.
Well, hold on a
as
second.
part
That's
of this
not
research
fair,
study.
but because you're only getting the male perspective. If the guys are the only guys watching the videos, and you guys are the girls doing the data entry, that sounds awfully Mad Men to me. Shouldn't you guys be watching some videos too, and some guys doing some data entry, so we get both sides of the coin represented?
2003 is a different time.
It was a different time. You're right. I still like Kanye. He was awesome.
Well, I think for the most part, it was very, did this happen, yes or no? Like, did this person have an orgasm, yes or no? If they did, what was the
Did
trigger?
the stepsister pull down the
Oh,
stepbrother's
God.
boxers?
All right.
Did the dad help the stepsister with her homework? Did the mom hide under the table during Thanksgiving of all time?
I like your data entry. Dirty Sanchez is driving a white van down the streets of Miami.
It's Miami, yeah.
And then sees a hitchhiker
By a school.
and then picks the hitchhiker up. She is not afraid for some reason, which is odd because the van has one seat and a blanket on the floor.
And people's signatures and just all kinds of writing on the wall.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
now, how long did this study take?
It was like a semester.
As long as it takes.
I think I made like $800 that semester, like $10 an hour. So, what the ultimate results were, I have no idea. I just did the data entry, sent the files off to the professor. He did everything else. So,
Where is he now?
he's definitely retired. He's definitely older. So, yeah, I'm not sure.
So
I mean,
Interesting.
it's
Interesting.
I wonder how you get grants, because that's it seems like
Especially for something like this.
that,
Dude, that could be our newest scam. What if we got grants to watch pornos?
Dude, there's a whole like sub business of like
You're
just
gonna do
filing
the
for
Andrew
grants.
Lesko thing. There's free money out there.
that's-
You should be filing for grants everywhere. Want to go back to school? There's money. Want to watch porno? There's money. You know that guy.
Yeah, and because like who approves that? Just some government
Barack
worker?
Obama. I don't know. I don't know.
There's someone that's in like some
Well,
form
now
of
would be
government.
the easiest time to get anything passed, right? Like, no, what's happening?
I don't know. I've never met a person that received a grant. Like I've heard about it, and like a government grant. I feel like they keep it on the down low because they know it's a scam. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't want to admit to you that they took a government grant because you're like, you stole
Do you think it sounds like the COVID money that people took
it's
for
like
their
the
businesses?
PPP
We
loan.
should have taken it, dude. We totally should
Well, I
have
know
taken
we
it. Why
should.
didn't we take that?
Well, because I was like,
Dude.
maybe someone else needs it, and no one needed
We
it.
would be sitting on Easy Street right now. I know legitimate businesses in this town
I
that took
know.
it that are thriving right now. They didn't need it.
They were thriving then.
They're not paying it back.
They told me, all right, take the money. I'm like, no,
God.
maybe someone else needs it. I don't want to do that.
Hot
I feel
lips.
like, aren't you against us?
Hot lips. We should have taken it.
yeah, you should have taken it.
We should have taken
But
it.
I felt bad because I was like, oh, those
People are
because-
dying. They need this money.
No, well, I was like, our company is not doing that bad. We're still afloat.
Well, we've
we
never done
lost
that
money.
good, so you can't do that, to me, right?
I was like, well, we're not going to go out of business, so we shouldn't take the money. And then everybody took it.
BDM Emily in our chat room says, I just got one and I'm working on another one. I got a grant for school. EJ got a grant.
Well, no, for what? For
I don't know.
You just apply for it, and the government gives you money for.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Guys, tell me what your grants are.
Yeah.
I do kind of think maybe my wife got a grant for something, but I didn't want to say it because I don't want to.
Yeah, you don't want to tell them.
Again,
it's a PPP.
Yeah, it's a PPP. It does feel that way.
Yeah.
There was a time when Andrea had so many scholarships to school that
Scholarships are different.
But we were going out to dinner and using her money. Like, she had money to burn, dude.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
what do you
yeah,
want? I go, you want to go shopping?
Yeah.
She was buying me pairs of Vans at surf shops. So she just had school money, and it was school money. And she's like, I don't need it. And she's just buying me gifts. She wooed me. She took me to a surf shop, and she dressed me like a little doll man with her monies. And she charmed me like a modern-day pretty woman.
Jennifer, when you were doing this job back in 2003,
Did you get horny?
No. No, I was gonna ask.
Well, you did pause. You did pause for her to answer the question. So that makes you part of the. You're half pervert.
Well, I wanted to see what she said.
You're half pervert.
But you were
She had to
actually
get home to that sweet, sweet ticking clock.
you were transcribing like what the notes these gentlemen took down, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
What's the grossest thing? You know.
Were there any things that were way too far?
Yeah.
You're like,
Was it like the one where it's like, guy asked stepdaughter to pretend she's racist and spit in his mouth?
So it's funny that you asked that because I have the same emails from back then. So I have some of the files that I emailed and I looked at
You
them.
put them on your
before.
home computer. Lock her up. Lock her up. You got it on your home computer.
They're my email. Anyway, but one of the things there's certain subjective things that they ask about, like, did someone like something or not like something? And one of the things that I noted was that made me chuckle and also think, oh, it was, you guys say it was golden age of porn. I don't know. But that one individual put a firecracker in the female's BH and then she swatted it away. So
It's not. I'll have to find that video. now I have to find the Grail.
Hold on,
I've never heard. Yeah.
Yeah.
You found the one that Tom and you found entry zero at the beginning of the internet.
I mean, that's good for 4th of July. It's
Yeah,
all
that ties
ties
in. Goddamn Hot Lips, you got the goods. That ties right in.
Yeah.
Would you like to work for our show? That ties right in.
Yeah,
Hell
we-
of a producer.
We were looking for a 4th of July weird job. This is
Yeah,
perfect.
I'm gonna print that on a
there
shirt.
you go.
Get Merchman to put that on a shirt. Hawk Tua, blow up that thing.
Do you think the transcription job or business is? I mean, it's done now with so many.
I use a business every day that's free, and it's amazing.
Yeah. It just feels like a human.
And Apple does it for free for all podcasts now.
Yeah, like there will be no human transcribing notes with someone else, right? Because the AI can do it. You know, because you
I
could,
mean, probably, yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean-
not an expert in transcription, though.
Yeah,
No, I know, but
that's
I'm
like
just-
an
I'm
easy
saying
one.
There
That's
used
an
to
easy one.
there used to be a lot of transcription jobs like, right
Yeah.
there was
Oh,
people
yeah.
there were people paid to transcribe things in lawyers' offices
Yeah.
and like whatever
And you're
like
making
notes.
all of them sad right now.
I think it's been phasing out for a while
Yeah,
because
it has. They've
I
been
mean,
using software for quite some time.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
fact, we have a lot of people that do that because they work in that paralegal universe, and yeah, they've been mentioning it to me via email for quite some time.
So, Jennifer, what do you do now? Just curious.
So at this current point in time, I'm technically unemployed by choice. I was the person that you guys discussed about the whole phone versus Zoom giving notice. I'm in the-
Yeah.
Now, you do know that just because you put by choice on there, we still look down on you.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right.
But I'm a competitor to Ram Davesy. I'm a financial planner, and I'm in the process of starting my own firm.
Oh, all right. That's awesome.
That's awesome,
That's what I'm
dude.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So.
That's freaking exciting, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's really cool.
Thanks.
You know
Yeah.
that there's a lot of people that need help with that because I
Yes.
You're looking right at me.
just with the basics.
I'm so naturally so bad at anything financial.
So back to, can you talk about like quitting your job, your last one?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you did put on the BDM page, and we talked about it on the show
Yeah, this
that
would be a good little tie-in.
that you were wondering, whether to do it over the phone or on Zoom,
Yeah.
and so you did it over the phone, right?
Yeah, so I had a regular scheduled Zoom meeting, and I sent a Slack and was like, hey, could we do this over the phone? So I had a conversation over the phone, and then I followed up immediately with an email to put everything in writing. And phone was definitely the way to go versus being on camera and having that reaction. So
Did they
Yeah.
sound disappointed, or did it go the way you thought?
It went the way I thought. The person felt very blindsided and very surprised, and and was kind of like, well, maybe we can figure out a way to change your job responsibilities so you can stay. And I said, that's not what I want to do.
I'll let
Like,
you
I'm-
watch.
I'm ready to
I'll
go,
let you watch
so.
all the porno you got.
Now, did
Yeah.
you feel like tempted at all to throw something crazy out there just to see if they take it? Because when someone says like, "Well, what would it take to keep you here?" I feel like that's your time to just throw a Hail Mary to see. Like, what if they told you like, "All right, you never have to Zoom in again, and you could do all your work from home," because
There is value in that.
me and Daniel.
I like crazy stuff though. I like wasting my wish. I like where they're like, is there anything I can say or do to make you stay? And I'm like, take off your pants and dance around and say I'm a little cowboy and start slapping yourself and then just waste it. And then when they're done, go, okay, I'll stay. Just waste it on something dumb.
Because Jennifer, have you heard about this new thing called being overemployed?
Yeah.
That's what we were going to talk to Lisa about today.
Yeah. I know. That's
But
what,
she's overemployed.
yeah,
She couldn't make it. She's
yeah.
overemployed.
And we'll eventually do, like, we were gonna have another weird job who is overemployed, and I know a buddy of mine was talking about this because he works remotely, and he's like, man, I think I could fit in 2 full-time jobs remotely. Because you could just work it into your schedule.
I've always thought Andrea secretly wanted to do this because she's capable of doing
Oh,
that.
yeah. And then
I get distracted too easily with porno.
So
Joking.
the weird thing is, though, because of, and I bet the law hasn't even caught up with current times, but if you work 2 full-time jobs, is that somehow like, I guess only one company's responsible for paying you overtime, so who cares if you have 2? Yeah, that's your own business.
Yeah, I think
but,
it is.
So, like, there's nothing.
It might depend contractually. Once you sign some sort of a contract, there might be some verbiage in there that I don't know what it would say, but
If one company,
it's a good question for Mo.
But if one company found out you were working another full-time job, they'd definitely be mad about it. Because they'd be like, wait a minute, that means you're not
what do they
working for
say?
me full-time.
Well, what if you are though?
Well,
What's full time?
Yeah, that's a whole nother question.
Is it hours in, or is it getting my job done? Because I know you hate that. I know you hate that.
Well, yeah, and so that's a whole other thing. But I'm sure the company feels like I want you putting, the 40 hours a week or whatever I pay your salary.
Well, it's kind of what got us into trouble. If you just want to be honest about it, right? That's kind of the ultimatum we got. It was like, well, you can't be doing that while we're doing this. You can't do that. And we were like, well, hold on a second. We're getting our work done. We're doing everything we should.
Yeah, but it had nothing to do with time. It had everything to do with some false narrative that us cursing would somehow hurt their
right,
sponsors.
but I'm still saying it wasn't all. Yeah, but anyway.
Anyway, well, Jennifer, thanks for telling us about this odd job, even though it was a short time in college. But I wonder how many research studies go on? Because I get one for, and I guess it's probably because of the running and the talking about triathlon. I get this thing that says, like, get trained for triathlons for free with this research study going on. And I'm like, this is bizarre that I'm getting these advertisements for this and whatever.
But you know who does a lot of these is Andrea's mom sometimes will do these.
Oh, because she's tied into,
you can
like,
slip in there and you can go there and they're like, yeah, watch this show for like 2 hours.
And then
don't
get paid.
And don't take a bathroom break, and we'll just then we'll take your blood pressure afterwards. And then they do it, and then they hand her like $500, and she's like, "Pays." It's smart. It's like
it's just finding them and taking the. But if you're
they're
organized,
easy ones. Some of them are just like you just got to sit here for a little while, and then they want to test your vitals afterwards or something. It's like, okay, that's fine.
Well, Jennifer, I forgot the question I asked you.
Anyway,
well, so. 2 things. Going back to the overemployed thing really quickly, my regular job took up enough work hours in the day I wouldn't want to do a second job. And in the financial planning industry, if you are registered to give investment advice, if you do any other work outside of that, it's considered outside business activity and you have to report it and disclose it. And since I was chief compliance officer where I worked, it would be really bad if I didn't disclose outside work. So it's another reason why I decided to leave. So
I'm going to start calling my wife the chief appliance officer as a low-key diss.
Jennifer, is that because like they're trying to crack down on like scams and people like suggesting someone invest their money into their own company they work for or something like that?
Well, the main reason is that there may be potential conflicts of interest. So if you're working for another company or another entity, is there any like commissions or kickbacks that you're getting from those people? And also, if you're spending time during a traditional trading or work day working on other projects, that means you're not available necessarily to work for your clients. So some of it is conflicts of interest and some of it's just general disclosure. But there's like so much regulation and stuff that it's honestly easier to not do anything outside of your traditional 9-to-5 job because you have to disclose it, and it's just a lot of paperwork and it's a really big pain. And I was trying as CCO to not put more work on myself than was necessary. So
we had no idea what you were talking about there. Like, I'm looking at Tom, he's looking at me. There's just this lady talking. I'm like, she's not talking about porno anymore. I know that.
No, I know what Jennifer's saying. So, all right, Jennifer, we appreciate it. thanks for doing this last minute,
Yeah.
and we'll
Sure.
see you soon.
You're the best. We'll see you soon.
Yep. All right. Take care, guys. Bye.
All right, bye.
Very nice of her to do that.
The investment stuff, like I know that it's like heavily regulated,
Mm-hmm.
but there seems like there's a tons of scams.
Well, it's only heavily regulated if you get caught.
Yeah. And so it's interesting. It's like you hear about so many scams, but it's also like seems to be like maybe that's what it is. It seems to be like
Probably.
there's a lot of oversight, but it's probably all smoke and mirrors, and there's not enough people to.
I don't
even
know.
Look at it.
I honestly don't know. The grant. I'm still thinking about the grant thing, and because you're right. I don't.
I think it's just
You know who I think's
apply-
gotten grants before, and who could speak eloquently on this is Brendan O'Connor.
Yeah,
I believe he's a grant man. I think he's our guy.
I think all it is there. If you apply to enough of them, eventually you'll just get one, and it's just professionally, or you're a professional application filler. You know what I'm saying? You just spend your day applying for a couple grants a day, and then eventually,
Yeah, but I think
you'll get one.
But he's done enough. Like his kit will look so good. You know, it's impressive with all the
Yeah.
stuff.
I don't
So
know
I
who.
think maybe it would lean towards that.
Once the process of granting them, or even
Can we
going through the
grant?
process.
Can we give grants to people to do stuff for us?
That's called employees.
No. This is a
Here's
grant.
the money,
This
dude.
is a one-off. No, this is a one-off.
Oh, one-off
This
things.
is a
Yeah.
grant. You're not an employee. We're not. That ship sailed. This is a grant.
I don't know how it works. I mean, it's. I don't even know what the definition of a grant is.
I can look it up.
Yeah. Find out what the definition of a government grant.
Like in kid terms.
It's just for the betterment of society. Like, hey, I want to do this, and then the government will give you money for doing something that betters society. So then that's why.
That sounds about right to me. Yeah.
In some way. And I guess there's people that just look over the applications and choose one.
I think we're on to something here. It's lining up how we can get a grant. Oh God, it's giving us a lot of. Okay, here we go. Let's just see what hard drive says about government grants.
A government grant is like a special gift of money given by the government to people or organizations for specific purposes, like starting a project, helping with research, or providing community services. You don't have to pay this money back. How to get a government grant.
Yes. All right.
1. Find a grant. Look for grants that match what you need. There are websites like grants.gov where you can search for them.
Grants.gov.
2. Read the rules. Each grant has its own set of rules and requirements.
We're not good with rules.
Make sure you understand what you need to do to be eligible.
Okay.
3. Prepare your application.
I can do this. I'll do the
Gather
application.
all the information needed. This might include details about your project, budget, and why you need the money.
That's you.
4. Submit your application.
I can do that.
Follow the instructions to send in your application. This is usually done online.
Easy.
5. Wait for a response.
We can do that.
After submitting, you have to wait for the government to review your application
it's gonna take
and
forever.
decide if you will get the grant. Number 6, use the money wisely. If you get the grant, make sure you use the money for the specific purpose you mentioned in your application.
No!
You might also need to report back on how you used it. That's it. Think of it as asking for a big helping hand to do something important, and the government deciding if they can give you that help.
Oh, I love it. He's so positive about it, man. Hard drive's got the goods, dude. We're going to be rich.
So
I'm going to get us a grant.
you have to do what your grant said. Is there anybody overseeing
you do a little
it?
bit. You do like it's like when
Does someone check up
it's
on
like
it?
all of these things going around town. It's like where you go portions of proceeds.
Okay, yeah,
You see what I'm
yeah.
saying?
As long as you're doing a little bit of
Portion
it,
of
yeah.
proceeds.
Yeah.
That saves everybody's ass. Portions of proceeds.
Like, is there some accounting after where you're like, this grant money, here's where I spend it, or is it loose?
I think you just got to get close.
Yeah, okay.
We can shave a little bit off the top, right?
How do they even know
Like if they give
you're
us
doing
10,
it?
I feel like you and I could pocket 2 and use 6, and we're good. I'm serious.
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
the
yeah.
kings of doing things on the cheap. They give us 10, 2 off the top to each of us. We got 6 to play with. We're calling in favors crazy. We got a little Mo here. We got little gringos there. You know, pow! And then, oh, dude, we could do this for life. Every couple of years we get a new grant. They give us 40. We take 10 off the top. 30's in.
I think this is what people do. Yeah. Like, I think there are people out there that get grants all the time and then figure out how to work the system.
And we're going to get all our clients involved so we can get big grants. Mega grant.
Yeah.
Hugh Grant.
Remember that Hugh Grant? Bang that hooker.
That's so old.
Yeah.
You think Hard Drive knows about that? He does. What was her name? It's coming to me. Divine Brown. I only remember dumb things. I never remember business things. I don't remember anything to help this company. But you asked me about who did Hugh Grant bang in a park?
He had
Divine Brown.
He had one of the saddest mugshots.
He's in a new movie, and it looks good. And it's one of those A24 movies.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks good. It's called The Heretic. Let's talk about it.
Okay,
and he's standing there, and these two girls are like, these two like cute teen girls go to his house and ring the doorbell, and automatically I'm like, is this guy gonna be a pervert? But I don't think he is. I think he's a God guy. And they ring the doorbell, and they're two like missionaries, coming to like, hey, would you like for us to tell you about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? And he's like, oh yes, come in. So they come in, and then all of a sudden, and they show this in the trailer. I'm not ruining anything. It's like, kabam! There's two doors. One says good, one says evil, and these girls have to choose their doors, and they go down these slides, and it's like he's created this house of nightmares.
Okay, all right.
Pretty good. Looks pretty good. It looks pretty good.
What? There's A24
I wonder if Divine
movies.
Brown will watch that movie. Do you think she will? Is she still alive? Is that who he banged? Was it Divine Brown?
Yeah, that sounds right. All right, well, hold on. We got to take a break.
Okay.
We'll be right back with more Corporate Time.
I'm sorry.
That's funny.
I'm all off in his face. I apologize. That was funny, dude.
That was funny.
Wednesday. Yeah, it does look like religious jigsaw, and it looks really good. It actually does look really good. I got Mike.
All right.
Pop him in. Hello?
Hey, what's going on, Mike?
Hey, man.
Hey guys,
Good to see you, dude.
what's up?
How you doing? Let me fix your thing. I'm gonna pop you up a little higher here.
I'm gonna
There
grab
we
some
go.
water. And then...
Thanks for doing this, man.
Yeah, anytime, man.
Always good seeing you. I know this is your time to hit it, and man, we got a doozy.
Oh, I know, right? Totally. Everybody's in panic mode.
Yeah, you could kind of see it. Yeah, I did see the most irresponsible thing I've ever seen on broadcast news last night, where maybe I should save it to say it when we're on the air, but like I didn't know if you'd heard about the guy that did the Photoshop.
No.
This guy on
Let's talk about it on the
yeah,
show,
we'll talk about it on the show. I was watching it live when it happened, and I just shook my head, and I'm like, man.
Well, it wasn't Hawk 2, was it?
No. Yeah, we like her. We're a big fan.
Hey, man, she must have an ad agency or something, man. She's popping up everywhere.
Well, I think she held back, got her ducks in a row, and she's doing the most she can with it. But you said it's not as organized as it seems, right? Like,
Well, I saw a picture with Shaq.
yeah, she was with. That's how I connected with her on Instagram.
It's just but I think society loves when some bizarre thing happens and all of a sudden it becomes like worldwide viral, and then this girl who didn't do anything, all of a sudden now everybody's seeing her, and then we're kind of like, oh, and this will be
made
dead
famous
soon.
for spitting on it.
Yeah, we have her just for some joke she said, and then of all the jokes on the internet, for whatever reason, in this particular time,
Well, the reason it stuck
became
with this
popular
is because she's telling the truth. All right. Okay. Would you like to begin?
Yeah. I was gonna say something real bad, but I don't
Yeah,
want-
don't. I already.
Right to Mike
Yeah,
leaves.
don't do that to Mike. All right, here we go. And 3, 2.
Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan.
Let's get right to it
Yes, sir.
because it's all over the news. There are storms out there crazy.
Yeah.
And on the line with us on Zoom right now is Mike from Mike's Weather Page. How you doing, Mike?
Doing great, guys. Glad another season with you. It's
Yeah,
pretty
man.
awesome.
Thank you always for giving us some time. And is this, am I correct in saying this is this the fastest storm to a Category 4 or 5 that we've had this early in the season?
Oh yeah, it's breaking all records. It's strongest hurricane for July. It's only July 2nd, so all the storms that we've had in July, this is the strongest. It was a Category 5 overnight. I mean, that's rare. Usually these things don't maintain that intensity. So yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it just so many folks I've been talking to that vacationed in the Caribbean didn't even look at the weather because they go every year this time of the year. There's never a Cat 5 hurricane there, so very rare.
So, Mike, I know there are other storms and depressions popping up around as well. Is this the activity that everybody was predicting for this summer, that like we were going to have a bunch of activity early, or is it earlier than even people thought?
I think it's earlier because the big talking point this year is La Nina, and that really isn't here yet. That's more middle season, end season. That's when the upper level wind shear is supposed to relax a lot. So we're kind of in that transition right now. So other than the water temperatures, I mean, I've been posting a lot since January. The water temperatures are record. And that's obviously the big fuel for these storms. And so, yeah, we could be looking. I mean, I'm never one to hype, but this storm's got me a little concerned. We might see some big ones later in the year here, late season. And for us here in Florida, we really got to worry about later September, October when they come up out of that Caribbean.
So, yeah, I was going to ask you about that because I feel like from watching storms for my whole life, right? Especially with the new technology, and you see the storm from when it starts, and you see the tracks, and everybody's got a hold of all the information. In the past 20 years, we have phones, we could track them a lot
we're
easier.
Constantly connected, our watches, text messages.
Yeah. But we see the storms come off the coast of Africa, and it we'll see the ones going low. And I'm only talking about us here in Florida, even though these storms are hitting the islands, and I think this one is going to eventually hit the Yucatan Peninsula, right?
Yeah, well, we were on a couple weeks ago, and this is definitely we kind of joked about the rains in Africa or Toto, right? We're going to see that this year, these long track storms because of this La Nina pattern, and we haven't seen this in a lot of years. We haven't seen this since really Irma was the really last true long track storm for us in Florida. So it's a sign of what we, might be looking at, and it's just crazy. I mean, they were comparing this year to 2005, 2020. Those were very active years. Yeah. And as long as that water's hot and we have no wind shear above, it's like fasten your seatbelt, man. It could be rough.
And so I know last year there was a lot of storms that seemingly were headed towards Florida and then turned north away from us because is that the high pressure pushed them away?
Yeah, totally. Well, when we had that El Nino last year, we have a lot of storms in the middle Atlantic. And the years that we have this La Nina coming up, I knew that Spanish was going to pay off, by the way, going to school. I just can't curl my tongue. But we had a lot of middle Atlantic storms last year that it was the fourth largest season last year. That's what we really only had one storm. It was Idalia for the whole continental U.S. So this year we're gonna have a stronger Bermuda high, it looks like, and that drives more systems west and upper Gulf Texas East Coast early season. So it's I mean, all that hype. Who would have thought we'd be looking at a major 165 mile an hour buzzsaw and hurricane? That's just unbelievable.
I saw something yesterday, though. I had gotten home from here, T. It was right after I left you, and I got home. I let the dog out, and I put the news on.
Yeah.
And I forget what channel it was, but one of the meteorologists on there did something, and it's like they're already starting to do things I dislike. So he took the size of the hurricane, and he did Photoshop. He took and he dropped the background out of it, and he laid it on top of Florida. And then he stood in front of it with the storm over Florida, And then on the bottom it said, "This is not real." And he's like, "I just want to let everybody know this is not real, but I just want to show you the size of the storm." I'm like, "Why do you need to do that? You didn't need to lay the storm on top of Florida."
Because he knows, and everybody
do
knows
that, dude.
that they'll take screenshots of that, and it'll be a meme.
And it's all misinformation.
Yeah,
it's
and then
like,
spread it around.
But I feel like you have an obligation to just be a little bit better. There's 100 ways I can even think to do what you wanted to do in a better way.
Their obligation is to get ratings.
I know, but it's sad.
I was guilty of that from day, early on. I mean, there's something addicting about getting likes, and we all like likes. One time Elon said he was going to take it away off of X, and that's good, because you want to see likes, and when you post stuff like that, you get them, and it's an addiction that it's hard. It's hard to stay away from those clickbait headlines, and but that gets traction, and that gets advertising, and it's. So my thing anymore is establishing trust, and I had a big meteorology summit with the state of Florida, and, talking to other Mets. And I think once people establish trust with whoever, they tend to lean on them in times like this, and hopefully turn there, when they need real information. And that's the best thing, and keep consistent messaging. That's the thing people want. And they'll find you eventually, hopefully.
So, Mike, let's talk about you storm chasing. So you're going to drive over to where the storm's going to hit?
Oh. No, I did. I had a 5 a.m. post. Most of the time people think I drunk post, which I do a lot.
Okay, that's fair.
All right, I'm not going to lie. I thought that too.
You know what? Confirmed.
Yeah, but I do that.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, Mike does it. Me and Mike are a lot
that just
similar.
Made you love America. It's fine. It's fine.
Hey, man, even one of the guy that writes me my songs, there's a lyric in there that says, even Miss Julie takes his phone away, which is funny. But no, yesterday I posted a Google Maps to Mexico because we had a storm pop up. Nobody even knows about. We had Tropical Storm Chris yesterday. And it lasted like 15 minutes. It had more fame or less fame than the Hawk 2 girl, probably.
Yeah.
He had
Chris likes it dry.
So I said I was driving to Mexico to track this thing. I had 1,000 comments, 100 texts, people saying, "Don't go to Mexico," and I'm like, "Come on." The joke was Chris is going to be here and gone, and it's going to take me a day and a half to get there. So, but yeah, I do storm chase now. In the U.S., I'm not going to Mexico.
I like how you got me on it.
Yeah, you got Tom. I love it.
I saw it. I was like, oh, he's driving to Mexico. But
but you gave him the payoff, which is fair.
But that goes to show you that no one's reading or even paying attention to the details of anything nowadays. You just see something, jump to a conclusion, and then live your life that way.
Yeah. You see the Hawk Tour as a teacher.
And
I see it. People like pictures and they don't read the context. And I'm probably just as guilty as anybody. I can't judge. But there, go back to your Florida State analogy. There, we gotta be really careful. Because man, anxiety is real with hurricanes and stuff. So you got to be really careful. Some people. I put a post out today about trends on your friends, and somebody got offended because they're like, "It's no friend to me if it hits me," and I'm like, "Well, yeah." When you say things like environment's favorable, people come back and say, "What are you cheering for the storm?" So I'm very cautious anymore in any words I use because you don't want to, offend somebody.
Yeah, well, people can be sensitive to, anything you say. Yeah.
And
I mean,
not like your show. You guys don't care, right? You just do it.
No, we deal with it sometimes too. I think everybody does. You want to try to be compassionate, but at the same time be edgy or funny or whatever.
But also, Mike, we also, they want the likes and the interaction and their comments too. So
it goes both ways.
So then when someone leaves a comment, a negative comment will get more reaction than a positive comment or a zero, or just like indifferent. So people just lean towards negative because they want the likes and the interaction on their comment.
Just disrupt and get the like. Disrupt, get the like.
So in our social media transactions, the comments are going to skew towards negativity because it gets more response.
The chat room's funny. Baby Bull says, "Excuse me, did you just assume my wind speed?" That's funny. That's pretty damn funny.
Oh my God! But hey, we'll figure it out. I have so much fun on social media now. The TikToks and it's just crazy.
And you got your truck, you got your vehicle now, your Stormobile.
Oh yeah, I'm ready. I got Starlink mounted in this bad boy.
Hell yeah.
Got my pillow and blanket in there ready to go. I just need a storm now to go to.
So, Mike, I'm curious. Do you see? Because it feels like, and I have no idea. This is not data driven, but it feels like we've had a lot more Florida land strikes from the west, like storms coming from the Gulf. In the past, 10 years, than coming from the east, like Andrew did, straight over. So are we going to see more of that, or because of this La Nina, we could see storms coming from the east now, like we did a long time ago?
Yeah, it's really weird because 2004 we had Gene and Francis, and Andrew was 92, and those were actually El Nino years, which so I always tell people Florida is like doesn't pertain to any of the rules. Like we had Michael during El Nino or La Nina or El Nino. I still haven't learned my Spanish here, but we had Michael during a year that wasn't supposed to have a lot of storm activity. Last year was an El Nino year, which was supposed to have light activity. 04 was an El Nino year, supposed to have light activity. So Florida doesn't play by the rules, is what I'm getting at. And I don't really think, because if we get a strong Bermuda high this year, they might be more going below us into the Gulf, and so it just takes a weird scenario, I think, for Florida to get hit on that East Coast, bottom line. Now, the West Coast is different. We get those storms out of the deep Caribbean. They turn. There's a cold front that comes down, picks these things up, turns them northeast. That's like the natural progression of storms. So when, late season is when that water is the hottest in the Caribbean, and we get fronts that influence the steering. And that's why the West Coast we've seen, Ian and Idalia and Charlie, and Irma. So, yeah, it's definitely more West Coast confidence any year than the East Coast.
Gotcha.
And Mike, I guess final question. I know we've asked you about this before, but do you see more and more social media storm chasers / meteorologists, people interested in meteorology and doing social media more and more each year? And do they reach out to you because I feel like
you're like an OG now.
Who else is bigger than you or as big in this, market?
Yeah, who's
your
arch enemy?
I've became friends with my enemies, so that's a good thing.
Nice.
But your point, guys, is so I see this with tornado coverage. I'll flip through my TikTok at night, and because it's figured me out, all these people are online doing live updates with storms, and it is crazy. I saw yesterday with this radar down in Barbados, there are so many people now online doing weather that it's a little worrisome because some are hyper, some are not. I'm no different than they are, but the people that are clinging to this drama-driven, impact posts, it's crazy. Like, I don't know if you saw that anomaly down there in Antarctica with a wave that was like 85-foot waves. It was everywhere. People were believing that we were going to get an 85-foot wave and had millions of, posts or, likes and comments. So there are a lot more people doing this because of the technologies out there that people can go live at any given time. And it's going to be tough, because people cling to I think they cling more to the worst case scenarios, and you can only cry wolf so many times, where people hopefully lose trust in that particular person.
Right.
But there are a lot. I mean, I'm telling you, I've never seen more people going live talking weather than I ever have.
It makes sense only because of it's the time that we live in, but you don't think about, them doing big numbers or, people clinging to it as much as you're saying.
But you could also go to where these storms are hitting, and the footage you take through your smartphone could go viral because you could get. So that tells me that people will be attracted to go to places like storms are hitting just to get social media video.
It's like people filming while there's a fight going on and not trying to break it up. Or not trying to save the person.
Which
I tell you what happened with Idalia. I turned the corner. There was a Winn-Dixie in Perry, Florida. I swear I'm not exaggerating. There was probably 50 storm chasers in that parking lot. I went from a road with nobody on it. I looked over and they all have their lights and their radars and they came from all over the country, and now we got this Twisters movie coming out next month, and it's going to put storm chasing on the map. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of, people lined up out there, and it's going to be a problem.
Are you renting a theater and taking 100 of your greatest drunk donkeys and doing a private showing with a Q&A ahead of time?
Well, yeah, it'd be kind of fun. I
Right?
could get
And
my
you could,
local theater sponsor me. You
they
know?
should,
AMC.
and then you tell them what's right, you tell them what's wrong.
Oh yeah, like you have like an after discussion
Yeah.
about what.
And we'll get a real donkey for people to take photos with afterwards. It'll be I'm really good at this stuff.
Yeah.
Tom and I've been doing this so long.
You know what? I might just reach out and email my local AMC.
Yeah, they should do that for you, Mike.
Oh, do you remember the Russian parasailing donkey?
yes, that one was real. That's before they started photoshopping them.
So we get a real drunk donkey with a parasail and then release
Float him
it
into a storm.
Yes, into a storm.
Yes.
Like the little balls from the original Twister.
Yeah, except it's a dog.
And then we're like, oh, look at it go.
Oh, there. Oh, no.
Riding donkeys. I could get a riding donkey where I can ride in, you know.
Yeah, a pair of mini donkeys and wear them like shoes. You could stand on each one like you're a Dolly Stampede.
Yeah,
So-
it's my DD. Not only is he a drunk donkey, he's my designated donkey
Okay,
driver.
I like that. I like that. Now you're thinking.
So, Mike, I'm curious, like, with your storm vehicle, like, what category storm would you be afraid, like, besides from, flooding and, the tide, is there anything else that you'd be afraid to sit there and ride a storm out in your truck? Like, I guess besides debris hitting the windshield and stuff, right?
I'm pretty stupid, actually. I look back at some of my videos and seeing trees going down, and I'd drive into anything, to tell you the truth. I mean, the surge, forget about it. I am not going to get swept away in floodwaters. That's what's scary. You know, we had surge with Idalia. It had 15, 20-foot water around Cedar Key and Steenhatchee. So I was driving those roads and had to make that decision, like, I got to get off the coast. So, wind, I'm not worried about a wind. As long as I'm secured enough that the wind's coming, the right direction and I'm not head on into it. Yeah, I'm game, man. I want that footage. I want them likes, man.
Yeah.
I
But-
got you. I
but-
got you.
But isn't like I remember after Andrew seeing like 2x4s that were impaled into palm trees, and like the force
That
to
was
put
scary, man.
to put a 2x4 through a palm tree is like shooting it out of a cannon.
Yeah, it's
like
nuts.
that could go through your windshield easy, right? I mean, things like debris could.
I know. Yeah, you lose all sense in these storms. I mean, my buddy Phil that works for me, he was trying to go left. I'm trying to go right into it. He wants me to go home, and I'm like, this is so cool. One time the truck was bouncing like a lowrider back in the day, and I'm like, look at this thing. I'm bouncing with it, and he's like,
I'm Snoop
oh,
Dogg.
this is fun. He called my other buddy. He goes, Joe, you're going with him next time. I'm done.
Look at me. Hey, look at me for shizzle my storm.
I was loving it, man. It's a weird addiction, I mean, it's the tornado guys do it. Reed Timber's a good friend of mine now. Those guys, they'll drive right into them damn things.
Oh, that's a storm name. Reed Timbers.
Oh,
That's a good name.
last question, Mike. Water spouts, because we talked about this on the show, and
They
thought,
washed the spider out, you idiot. Everybody knows that.
because
50-50.
someone was comparing a water spout to a tornado, and I know they're similar, but I was always under the impression that a water spout isn't as powerful
It's
as
a gay tornado.
as a tornado, because I remember seeing tons of water spouts in Miami, like
Right.
and then people are like, oh, they're not that strong. But is that correct?
Oh, well, no. Once they hit land, they're considered a tornado. And usually it's a 0 or a 1. But I've seen them lift boats, cars, tear
that'd
a
be
house
awesome.
up. We just had one a couple weeks ago in, I think it was maybe around Crystal River, Homosassa Springs, I think it was.
It was Crystal
It
River.
is-
Yeah, it was near my father-in-law's place.
Okay.
Yeah, it totaled 2 houses. So, yeah, they're powerful. I think majority of them are very weak, because they don't have a lot of structure around them to disrupt them. So they're harmless, most of them. But these big ones, no. We had one in Oldsmar that was real famous. It tore up a house pretty good. So, yeah, they turn into tornadoes once they hit land.
Oh, okay.
And,
Wow.
so, yeah, I'd be worried of them. Most of the time they don't hit land. That's
They're
the thing.
so
It's kinda
beautiful. They're so beautiful.
Well,
I heard a funny TikToker about the Midwest. I know. She was like, you know what tornado sirens are for? They're like, it tells everybody to go outside and get your phone and film. You know, that's what we all do, right? We're like we hear a siren.
Not
or
me,
a
buddy.
storm.
There are a way more crazy tornado footage than there ever was, and I feel like every year there's more and more. But like, I
There's
mean,
one of just
this
some
year.
like younger black guy standing on his porch, and he's just standing there, and it just comes up to him, and he's just standing there filming, and I'm like, what is happening, dude?
I mean, I'm surprised there's not more people get hurt.
Yeah.
Honestly, you know, tornadoes are weird because they lift. They take everything with it's you know you run from the water, hide from the wind. There's almost 80 to 90% deaths with hurricanes or water related. So there's not a lot of deaths with wind. It's the water that you got to worry about.
Gotcha.
well, Mike, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Always a pleasure, man.
Again, you could find, I mean, obviously search for Mike's weather page on all social media or spaghettymodels.com.
Yes, sir.
And
Anything else you want to tell our listeners about, man? You got any new beers out or anything?
Actually, we do have one coming out. You know, I'm paired up with Tampa Bay Brewing Company now.
Nice.
They're big up here. They make Reef Donkey, which is ironic. It's big over here. They make a whole brand of donkey beers.
It's good. Reef Dog is a good beer, man.
Yeah, and the owner Dave and Major, they're good friends of mine. So we got something coming out very soon. ABC, of course, is a big supporter of that. So
Nice.
we'll have plenty of time for me and my donkey to get lit.
You got it, man. Well, hey, stay
And I
safe.
go live on TikTok a lot of times late night with Mike. So.
Very cool, man. That's awesome.
Actually, the other night, I was live and I was just telling everybody I was drinking some tequila, you know, and then Major, who works at TBC, came on. I'm like, oh, everybody, tell him I'm drinking TBC beer. I'm not drinking, you know, I was like, I'm drinking your beer, buddy, you know, and it was just so funny because, you know, who the hell, you know, pops into these live chats, and the world is so connected, you know, with the internet. It's just nuts.
It's a
just-
crazy time, man.
We're all connected somehow, man, in some little way, you know.
For sure.
you know what's awkward, Mike? And it's never when I see, I'm like scrolling Facebook and then I see someone on a live video.
You should pop in there and say hi.
And then I click on it, and then I forget that they can see me, and
Oh, yeah.
I'm the only person there.
Yeah.
And then they're
And
like,
then
"Hey,
you-
Tom,"
and then you leave.
Well, no, then I can't leave because
Yeah,
I'm
you
like, "Oh,
can.
no!" But it's like if I walked in and someone's playing acoustic guitar.
Act
and
like
then
you
I-
didn't hear it. It's like you walk in the ladies' room. You're like, excuse me.
No. So then they're like, "Hey, Tom," I'm like, "Oh," and then it shocks
Oh, you don't
me.
want to sit for my song?
And then I'm like, "Oh God, I didn't know they could see me." And then
But
now
I saw one of Emily's friends one time dancing or doing something, and I did the same thing, and there was like 13 people in there, and it said Mike's weather page, and I'm like, oh my God, she's gonna think I'm stalking her, you know?
Oh, yeah, be
It's
careful
so
with
easy.
that.
I mean, and you know, you thumb scroll right, and sometimes you hit the heart and the
I
likes
know.
you don't mean to. And you're
Sometimes
like,
I'm liking my friend's wife's beach photos. And I'm like,
I meant to zoom pinch zoom, and I liked it.
But I'm body positive, and her weight
Yeah.
loss journey's been great.
Yeah. And it's real bad if you don't like anything or haven't liked anything in months.
One
And
bikini.
then one bikini photo of your buddy's wife.
well, you gotta keep your options open. You know?
Hey, there it is.
You gotta just throw out the bait a little bit there. You know?
Yeah, exactly. You still troll it a little bit. Good seeing
Yeah.
you, man. Stay safe out there, and good luck with
Hey
your storm
guys,
chasing.
anytime you know we get stuff coming to Florida, you can give me a ring. I'll be on.
All right, buddy.
100%.
We'll talk to you soon.
All right, dude.
See you.
Later.
See ya.
That is Mike from Mike's Weather Page, live from his weather cave.
You know, I see Mike all the time, like, because he's got so many followers. He's got like 1.1 million people on his
No, it's a lot.
Facebook
When
page.
he goes live, you'll look up and be like 72,000 people watching. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh
yeah.
my God.
And when there's that amount of humanity, like there's like, I mean, could
Oh,
you
the-
imagine
the
the
chat
percentage
just
of
scrolls.
trolls? Yeah, but he's constantly.
Oh, it's all trolls. It's all like
I-
just political stuff, just right up the side, just political.
I see him defending things he's said and stuff, like he's constant because Mike takes it to heart. He's like, "Hey, I wasn't saying this for this," you know. But
Yeah.
but I'm like, Mike, you have too much of a
Yeah,
following.
you can't talk to
You'll
them.
never rationalize with some of these people. They'll nitpick every word you say and then spin it, and because I don't even think they're mad or believe it what they're even saying.
Oh,
they
they're
just
just
want,
crazy people yelling politics on his chat.
or they just want some sort of response in their chat. So it's like it's almost you have to.
Well, that's
ignore
the
it, but-
wrong one because there's too many people.
yeah.
No, it rapidly scrolls. Like you can barely read it.
Yeah.
The last time I was in there, it was very difficult to read because it's just like, just straight messages going.
And then just the amount of comments he gets, and then I see him struggling with the because he'll take him like, hey, take him seriously, and I'm just like, man, if I was him, I would just 100% ignore any negative. But then I guess you're
well, I mean, you could do it. Maybe he can't.
Yeah,
different people built different ways. You know what would be rad?
Maybe I would defend myself. Yeah, I've never had that. I've never dealt with that, so I don't even know how it reacts.
If people disagree with you, you'll defend yourself. I mean, it would have been cool if he could hide. Like, you know what's fascinating to me are these people on these streaming platforms that have completely fake cartoon identities, and they still have millions of followers, but they are nothing more than a movable drawing.
Yeah.
If he could have accessed something where he were like, let's say, Mr. Weather, and he were just like a generic thing giving you the weather, I wonder if that little bit of anonymity would make it so people would disconnect enough to not put their own personal thing in there.
I don't think he'd be as popular. Because
he
wouldn't be. His popularity, I think, depends on his authenticity
and his likability and his norm. He's normal.
He's a regular Florida guy that people can relate to.
He's relatable.
He likes football. He likes his golf cart. He likes beer.
It's relatable.
He's a family man. He lives in Tampa. It's like
he likes baseball, softball with his kids.
It's
good stuff. Yeah.
He's he's a good guy, and people know. And
it's the perfect story for the Florida weather guy.
Yeah.
It is the perfect story.
And I'm sure there's trolls and there's people that want to attack him because
where's the young hip kid doing his version of what Mike does, where he's got the truck, it's matte black, or maybe it's a Tesla X that he does his out of. You know what I mean? Like, where's the newer guy?
I don't even know.
Or do young people care about the weather?
You're right. I don't think they do.
I don't think they do either.
But they care about hurricanes, right?
But they're scared of them.
Yeah, maybe.
Mike's not scared of them. He's fascinated by them. That's different.
Yeah. The
most kids I know, for the most part, are like, you talk about hurricanes, and they're not like, oh, I want to be a meteorologist. They're more like, what?
Yeah, I guess when I was younger, I was, just weird. I should have been because it killed my father.
I wasn't scared about him either, dude.
It was just like I remember going out.
I'd look forward to him because I knew I was going to get off school. I'd be like, hell yeah, we're going to get off school.
Yeah, and then also we like go around in hurricanes, seeing what was going on. You're like, even though it was like
I remember getting in David Smith's white Volvo after the hurricane and driving around the land to see trees that were down. Yeah. You would do that. You want to do a couple voicemails?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let me dig some of these up here, guys. And if you'd like to leave us a voicemail, the easiest way to do it is through our app. Totally free. All of our content's on there. You just hit the button that says Mediocre Messages, and you can leave us a voicemail message like this one right here.
Dan, put some Neosporin on it. I just started listening to the BDM show, Trapped in the Dreams. In the Dreams? Trapped in the Dreams? Okay, that kind of works, I guess. But I heard about the dog bite in those first 40 seconds there. Dog bite worse than a cat bite, in my opinion. They both have crap bacteria in their mouths, but I think cats are grosser. This is going 4 months in from the cat bite on my finger. And it's still tender in certain spots. You can go get some antibacterial, medications, antibiotics. You don't want to play around. If it was a puncture, you don't want to play around with that, man. Let me tell you, it's not fun. And ironically, for my bite, the puncture actually healed faster and better than the sort of scraped slash from the other fang. That's the one that's giving me problems on that side of my finger. So yeah. Put some Neosporin on that crap.
Nope, not going to do it. I'm fine. Look at that. All good.
Yeah.
All good. Healed up. It bled for 3 days, and I just kept smushing it together and using the butterfly bandages. And you just keep smushing it together, and eventually it will heal itself up.
Also, after a certain amount of time, does the antibacterial whatever, that doesn't matter anymore, right? If
Don't
it's
you have
been
to get
a
it
week.
in there quick, right?
I have no idea.
I always thought you got to get it in there quick.
And you could tell the infection, and which I've never seen before where there's like, oh, the if you get a red line traveling towards your heart, that's when you know you're in trouble.
My mom used to say that.
And then I was like, okay.
My mom would be like, get over here. Let me pull your shirt off. Oh, my God, there's a red line going to his heart. Dan, we need to take him to the emergency room.
I've never seen a red line going towards anybody's heart in real life.
Carrot Top had it on his Instagram the other day. He got bit on his thumb by a scorpion, and he had his shirt off, and he's standing there, and he didn't back off the muscle, and he's just as muscly as he's ever been. And sure enough, he had his shirt off, and he had the red line going up his arm, and I was like, oh, I've never seen that before, but I did see it.
And yeah.
But I get it from a scorpion because I believe that is venom, and that would be the red line. I think that's what you get it from. I don't think you get it from like.
Well, the red line's infection. The venom, I don't think you could see traveling.
Look, I'm just telling you what I saw.
It sure wasn't a prop.
It wasn't. No, he was talking about his house. And I wish I could pull it up quickly, but you can't pull anything up quickly these days because everything's got like pop-up blockers, and you got to go through this. But yeah, he said he was moving around stuff in his house, and he hadn't been there for a minute, and a scorpion bit him on the thumb, and then it crawled up his arm.
All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back with more Corporate Time. All right, so that's Tuesday 1. And so we just, after lunch, we just got to record Wednesday 2, and then Tuesday 2, and Tuesday 4. But they're all small segments.
They're little guys. Guys, have a great.
Oh shit! Let's do it right now.
Where do you want me to put it?
Actually, we'll do it when we come back from. We'll do it. After
we
lunch.
can do it on the front of that. We didn't do it because we had Mike on the line.